Sharratt, the author of Yoga Animals, and I'm here in the beautiful Garbo House studio in Penzance, Cornwall, to teach you a small session based on the book, which publishes on the 28th of October. So this little session will not include all the poses in the book, which is many. It'll be a taster, and for obvious reasons, if I turn sideways, I'm not going to be able to demonstrate all the poses myself, but I'm lucky to have the founder of Garbo House here with me to demonstrate how they should look. So just as a bit of housekeeping, I should also say that if you're new to yoga, I would always advise in-person classes to begin with. And if you're working with any injuries or illnesses, please practice with caution and exercise your own best judgment. Don't do anything until you're fully warmed up, of course. So with all that housekeeping in mind, or out of the way, I should say, come to a comfortable position, whether it's lying on your back or sitting. And if sitting is not great for you, you can lift up out of your hips with a block or rolled up mat or cushion. You can come to kneel. Any position that allows you to sit up nice and tall. Anchor through the sit bones, drop the shoulders away from the ears. And if it's comfortable for you, let the eyes gently close. So there are many, many different schools of yoga, different types of yoga, and people engage with the practice in all sorts of different ways and at different levels. Yoga Animals focuses on the poses and breath work that take their inspiration from the animal kingdom. And I would argue that this reminder of our own place within the natural world, our connection to it, might hold something of an answer as to the increasing popularity of yoga, especially in the context of our busy, frantic, sometimes very urban modern lives. So you might like to keep a sense of that connection as you begin to reintroduce movement to the body by deepening the breath, wriggling fingers and toes, turning the head gently from side to side. And if you're lying on your back, or even if you're sitting, stretching from fingertips, maybe stretching into the feet and legs. Again, if you're lying, roll carefully to one side, push yourself up to a comfortable seat, and then you can blink your eyes open. Ready to start. So we're going to start the session with a couple of pranayama or breathwork exercises. The first one is bee breath. I've got the lovely Eve here now to help demonstrate. So again, coming to a comfortable seat or staying in a comfortable seat if that's where you were, which can be cross-legged or kneeling. You're going to take your hands and use your thumbs to gently close off the ears. Now, if that feels uncomfortable for you, don't worry, you can just kind of rest the hands on the head. The fingers will wrap around the back of the head. So I might demonstrate one first of all before I can't hear myself speak. You're going to inhale deeply through the nose. You can let the eyes close if that's comfortable for you. And release the breath as a long hum. So humming all the way to the end of your exhalation, and then sitting for a moment and just noticing how the sound feels in your head. And we'll do 3 of those in total, so we can do 2 more. Inhale. When you get to the end of your last exhalation, just let the hands rest gently on the knees. Keep the eyes closed, observing. And then when you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. And make your way to kneeling. Again, if this is comfortable for you, if not, you can stay seated. So we're going to come to a wide kneed position, or wider than normal kneeling. You have a few options. This is lying pose, which actually is technically an asana pose, but I think the breath component is perhaps the most obvious part of it. So there are a few options for what you can do with your body in this pose. You can have hands just resting in lying claws on your knees. You can bring them to the floor, fingertips pointing away. Or if you want to add a forearm stretch, which might be handy, you're thinking you'll practice some arm balances later, you can turn the fingertips towards you so you can feel quite a strong stretch there. I think I'm going to stick with my hands on my knees. Maybe I'll demonstrate one first of all. So one of the beautiful things about this particular pose is that it's one of release, and you're probably going to look silly, but so does everybody else. So I'll go first. Inhale deeply. And then as you exhale, all at the same time, you open your eyes wide and roll back. Open your mouth wide, stick your tongue out. All the way to the end of the exhalation. You can really feel that forceful exhalation of all the stale air and anything else you might like to leave behind. So we'll do 2 more. Inhale. Lovely. Okay, you're feeling nice and awake now. You can make your way onto all fours. Planting your hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. We'll come to a little cat-cow flow, which is how a lot of yoga classes start, just warming up the spine. So inhale, soften the tummy, look up. Exhale, arching your back, rounding, tailbone drops. Inhale forward, this is cow. Exhale, arching back like a startled cat. Inhale forwards. Exhale, arching up into cat. And then you can come from a neutral tabletop back. Tuck the toes, pushing back, downward facing dog. One of the most famous yoga poses, yoga animal poses. So having this one at the start of the session, you can let it be very gentle and exploratory. Noticing how you're feeling. Pedal the feet, bend the knees deeply. If you're like me, you've got tighter hamstrings. And then you can inhale back to all fours. Step your right foot forward between the hands, and then the left. Nicely bend the knees to come all the way up to stand. So we're ready to do our sun salutations, which again, if you've done any yoga, you'll know that they are the start of many yoga classes. And this is where Leif's assistance is especially going to come into its own, because I can't get to the floor for the normal sequence now. So I'll show you, I'll talk through the classic one, and I'll show you an alternative if you like me, you can't, all the way to the ground. So you can start in Tadasana mountain pose. You can be together, slightly apart, or hip distance apart, lining up the outside edges, and really feel your roots going down to the ground. You can lift the toes, spread them, and then press down firmly through all 4 sides of the feet, pulling energy up through the arches and feeling that ripple up the front of the body. And then there's a releasing down the back of the body. Inhaling, exhaling, hands to the heart. Inhale, reaching forwards and up. Exhale, we've got space, take the arms wide, coming all the way down. Fingertips run up the tops of the toes, deep bend in the knees if you need one. Again, I certainly do. Inhale, lift and lengthen, open the heart space forwards. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stepping the right foot back. Plant the hands, return the breath. Left foot goes back to meet it. Body's in a strong, straight line. Exhale, drop the knees, chin and chest down between the hands. Or you can come to a cow like me. Inhale, sliding forward into a baby cobra pose. First of all, just do warming the back up. Shoulders down and back, elbows in. Exhale, tuck the toes, pushing back, downward facing dog. Take a few nice long breaths here. Spreading the fingers, flattening the shoulder blades. Again, bending the knees as deeply as you need to, so you can maintain length in the spine. On your next inhalation, you can fall between the hands, step the right foot all the way forward, and you can give the hand if you need to. Exhale, the left foot comes forward to meet it. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweeping the arms wide, coming all the way up to stand. And exhale, straight back down. Inhale, lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, stepping the left foot back. Plant the hands, hold the breath. Right foot is back to meet it. Body's in a strong straight line. Exhale, knees, chest, chin down to the ground. Inhale into Cobra. You can come a little bit higher up and the back's being warm enough. Exhale, tuck the toes, pushing back, down, facing down. Breathing all the way into the abdomen on the inhalation and emptying all the breath out on the exhalation. On your next inhalation, you can fall between the hands, lift the left foot all the way forwards. Exhale, right foot comes forward to meet it. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweeping the arms wide, coming all the way up to stand. Exhaling, hands to the heart. You can let the eyes close now, so that you're a little bit wider than hip distance. Just take a few nice long breaths, observing the effects of your sun salutation, Surya Namaskar, on the body. And then you can blink your eyes open, come back to Tadasana, mountain pose at the top of your mat. And we'll come to a little standing sequence, standing flow. So really rooting down again, re-establishing that nice mountain pose, which can be feet together or slightly apart. And then inhale, taking your right foot back, a big stride. Your left toes are pointing towards the front of your mat, your right toes are angled slightly out. Hips are square to the front. Inhale. Exhale, bend the front knee so it's tracking straight over the front foot, coming into a warrior one. So you can sweep the arms up alongside the ears. And you can look up if that feels okay in your neck and for your balance. On your next inhalation, open the arms out, open the hips out. You can widen the feet a little if that feels nice, coming into warrior two. So the front knee is still tracking straight over that front foot, not going any further than the ankle. Shoulders stacked over hips. Soft gaze over the middle finger of the front hand. Inhale, bringing the left forearm to the left thigh. Right arm goes up and over the ear, coming into extended side angle. If you'd like to go deeper into the pose, you can bring the hand to the floor or to the block, in or outside the foot. On your next inhale, wimbling the arms up, turn the heels in, so your toes are out, heels are slightly inwards, and then bending the knees, dropping the bottom straight down, coming into a horse pose. So you can take the hands to the hips actually here. You can have them at the heart, or if you want to intensify the challenge a little bit, you can bring the arms up. So keep that tailbone dropping straight down, not sticking the bottom out. This pose is also sometimes known as goddess. On your next inhalation, straighten the legs, turning the right toes to the back of the mat, left toes in, hips are square now to the back of the mat, so you get a nice back view, and then bending the right knee, coming into your warrior one on the second side. So you can keep the hands on the hips, you can extend them up alongside the ears, you can add the gaze. Inhale, opening the arms out, open the hips out, coming into warrior two. Drop the gaze in the middle finger of the right hand now. The shoulders are still stacked over hips, not leaning forwards with the upper body. Inhale, bringing the right forearm to the right thigh, or you bring the hand to the floor or a block. Left arm goes up and over the ear. Nice rotation in the torso up to the left. Coming back to the breath. And inhale, 1 million yards up. Heels in, toes out. Making your way back into horse pose again. You can also add a little rocking if it feels nice. Keep dropping the tailbone straight down, and you have your options for what to do with your hands. Hips, heart, arms up. A couple more breaths, maybe dropping a little deeper. And then inhale, pushing the feet to come up. Heel toe the feet close together. You can bring the hands up to the heart. And now we're going to make our way down to the round. So you can inhale up into the balls of the feet, arms at shoulder height. Exhale, bend the knees, making your way down. We're going to come to a nice twisting pose from the yin yoga tradition, which is called deer pose. So beginning with your bottom of the floor, soles of the feet together. You might like to have a cushion or a bolster handy for this one. So taking your right leg behind you. So it's at a similar angle to the left leg, but going the opposite direction. So you've got both legs at a sort of right angle. And then you can lift up. Feel both sit bones anchoring down as much as possible. Lift up through the upper body and revolving it to the left. Try to initiate that movement from inside rather than cranking around with the arms. So you can stay here if you're quite happy in this version of deer pose, or you can push into the hands to just lift that left hip, scoot it back a bit, and then you might find you've got space to fold forward. I do not have a lot of space to fold forward, so this is where I'm going to stay, but you can come further, as you can see. And you can also use your bolster or cushion to bring the floor a bit closer. So this is yin poses are held for longer. So we want to make sure that it's not starting from a place of being very uncomfortable. So perhaps don't come to your maximum twist or your maximum fold. Not too long today, so you can push that up into your hands. Come back up to upright, and then we'll take it to the other side. So bring your right leg in first of all, and then taking your left leg behind you. Both legs at right angles, just facing different directions. And then feeling both sit bones anchoring downwards, draw nice and tall, inhale. And then twisting towards or past the right leg this time. You can stay here or push into the hands to lift that right hip, just scoot it backwards a little bit. And then you have the option to fold in if you'd like, or as far as you'd like. Breathing here, releasing. Twists are great for wringing out, both physically and emotionally. Inhale, making way back up onto the hands to come back upright. Untwisting. And we're going to bring the left foot back to meet the right, coming to butterfly pose, also known as Baddha Konasana. So your soles of the feet are together, but then you're just going to open the inside edges up that page to the book, just to keep this nice revolve in the hips. You can take your bottom away from the feet if that already goes a bit tight, or on the other hand, if you want to intensify the stretch a little, you can bring the bum nearer to the feet. Sitting up nice and tall, holding on to the shins or ankles. You can let the eyes close if that feels comfortable. And on an inhalation, squeezing the glutes, the outer muscles of the legs, you might move the knees a little bit closer to the floor. Maybe that movement is almost imperceptible, that's fine. Release on an exhalation. Inhale, squeezing. Exhale, release. Inhale, squeeze those slightly little butterfly wings. Exhale, release. Stay here if this is enough, or if you'd like to add a little bit more of forward bend, you can lift up nice and tall on your inhalation and hinging at the hips, folding the heart towards the feet. But again, it might be that you go a very short distance and you can already feel quite a satisfying stretch, so there's no need to go any further. Inhale to come back upright, and then you can take your hands under your knees to bring them back together. So after you've had that stretch. And we're going to make our way to kneeling for a back bend. So this back bend is called camel pose. As I talk about in the book, there are lots of possible reasons for its name, but I think I always think of it as a bunch of bodies that come, which looks more exaggerated on me. So come to a kneeling upright position with your toes tucked if possible. And I always find I have to manually do the baby toes, they don't want to get involved. So they have to be reminded. There are a few options. If a strong back bend is not right for you today or at all, then there are a few other things you can do along the way, and I'll demonstrate them first of all. So you can come to a gentle camel prep by taking your hands to your back, fingertips pointed towards each other, and then just smoothing down with your hands. It's a little bit like a back massage. And maybe as you continue the smoothing action, the hands might start from a little bit higher. So you can feel this opening in the chest. Keep the thighs strong, keep a little engagement in the lower belly to protect the back. So if that feels like plenty, that's quite a strong back bend for you, then please continue your camel prep. If you want to come to baby camel, you can just take the hands, the fingertips point down the back, elbows draw towards parallel, and maybe let the head fall back if that feels comfortable. You can keep the chin tucked. Look at baby camel option. The next option is a half camel flow. So that will bring the arms out in front of us at shoulder height. Inhale, take the right hand back to the right heel. Keep the left arm reaching forwards. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, left hand goes back. Exhale, back. So you can keep flowing like this. If you want to come to full camel, I might just demonstrate for a moment. You take one hand back and then the other. And again, you have the option, keep the thighs upright as far as possible. You have the option to keep the chin tucked, or if it feels okay for you, you can let the head gently fall back. When you're ready to come out, reach forward with one arm and then the other. You can gently sink back onto your heels, and now you can take the knees nice and wide and reach forward into a child's pose, which is always a good rest pose anywhere in your class. So feel free to pause the video here and stay in your child's pose. Otherwise, we're going to come to our last couple of poses, starting with Dolphin, which is a great strengthening posture, which you might find useful for a lot of the arm balances that are in the book, but I won't be demonstrating today. So, for Dolphin, we come from a kneeling position, coming towards the back of my mat, so I've got lots of space, and you measure the web of your hands into the crook of your elbows, and then bring your elbows to the floor, and open your forearms out, clasping the hands together, so that's like your little bottle nose. And then you can tuck your toes and push up into this version of Dolphin, which is sort of like a downward dog variation. So you can really push the floor away with your elbows, hands, and forearms. Rolling through the upper back. Probably feel it's quite strengthening fairly quickly. And there's a flow, which I'll show you today. So I have to walk my feet back a bit to give me space for it. It will depend on the length of your body. You can inhale forwards then into a sort of forearm plank, and exhale back. Inhale forwards and exhale back. So generally, when I'm teaching this, we say it's good to do them in rounds of 10 if you can, but it's not a competition. It's just good for strengthening the core and your body. And you might find that you can feel that strengthening works happen after only a few rounds. Do a couple more. And then when you're ready, bringing the knees back to the floor and making your way back into child's pose. So you can have it the knees wide variation, or you can have your knees together. It's not possible for me, but let's have a bit more of that bend. You can always use a prop to bring the floor closer to make this extra yummy. With Dolphin, pause, feel free to do multiple rounds. So if you want to pause the video, you can do that now. Otherwise, we'll come to the final pose of this session, which is rabbit. I might turn a bit so you can see rabbitiness. So coming to all fours, but with the hands closer than you would for cat-cow, close to your knees. And then on an exhalation, oh, actually, we'll sort of cat-cow first. So inhale, drop the tummy, look up. And exhale, arch neck back, just like in your cat, bringing your top of your head to the floor. And then on your next motion, you can reach the hands back. So for the shins, or maybe for the heels, you can put the toes if you like. Stay here, this is enough, really rounding the neck back. There shouldn't be too much pressure on the top of the head. And then if you want to add a bit of shoulder stretch, you can clasp the hands on your tailbone. And on an inhalation, breathe the arms up in an arc. So here you can see, I think this is where the pose gets its name. When you're ready, release the arms, if you're taking that variation, and make your way back. Do a little child's pose. And then you can walk hands back towards the knees. We're going to come to final relaxation, which I consider the most important part of any class. So you've got time to practice now. You can extend the legs nice and straight. Point the toes. Inhale, your arms to shoulder height. Tuck the chin. You're using the pointed toes, the extended arms, and your core to slowly extend as we roll down one vertebra at a time. I'm going to stay sitting so I can talk to you. And then, when you're flat on your back, you can make any wriggles and adjustments for any clothing that you might need. You're just going to tense and relax all the muscles of the body just to wring out any little niggles that might have arisen. So starting with the feet and legs, inhaling, squeezing all the muscles of the feet and legs, lifting a couple of inches off the floor, squeezing tight, 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 and exhale, release. Inhale, squeezing the bum, pushing the hips up towards the sky, and exhale, release. Inhale, squeezing the shoulder blades towards each other, puffing the chest up to the sky, and exhale, release. Inhale, making fists with the hands, squeezing all the muscles of the hands and arms, lifting the arms a couple of inches off the floor, squeezing tight, tight, tight. And exhale, release. Inhale, squeezing the shoulders towards the ears, pushing away from the ears, and exhale, release. And inhale, squeezing all the muscles of the face into the center of the face into a tight, tight croon. Then open your eyes wide, open your mouth wide, stick your tongue out. And return to lion. Yeah. And now you can make any final adjustments to allow yourself to be really comfortable, to give yourself this very important gift of complete rest for the next few moments. I'm going to talk you through this process of relaxing each part of the body in turn. All you have to do is follow the sound of my voice and move. And starting with the right big toe. Other four toes, ball of the foot, arch, heel, top of the foot, ankle. My whole right foot is completely relaxed. Awareness moving up the right leg, right shin, calf, knee, back of the knee, thigh, back of the thigh, hip, buttock. My whole right leg is completely relaxed. Awareness moving now to the left big toe, upper four toes, ball of the foot, arch, heel, top of the foot, ankle. My whole left foot is completely relaxed. Moving awareness up the left leg, left shin, calf, knee, back of the knee, thigh, back of the thigh, hip, buttock. The whole left leg is completely relaxed. Taking awareness up now into the abdomen and torso, along the length of the spine, each of the vertebrae, each of the ribs, the collarbones, and all the internal organs and muscles they enclose and are encased by. The whole abdomen and torso are completely relaxed. Awareness moving now to the right thumb, other four fingers, palm of the hand, back of the hand, wrist. The whole right hand is completely relaxed. Moving awareness up the right arm, right forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, shoulder blade. My whole right arm is completely relaxed. Awareness moving now to the left thumb, other four fingers, palm of the hand, back of hand, wrist. My whole left hand is completely relaxed. Awareness moving up the left arm, left forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, shoulder blade. My whole left arm is completely relaxed. Taking awareness up now into the neck and throat, chin, jaw, ears, lips, teeth, tongue, nose, cheeks, eyes, eyebrows, forehead, top of the head, back of the head. My whole head and neck are completely relaxed. I relax my mind. I relax my mind. My whole mind and body are completely relaxed. Keeping the body still and the eyes closed. Just preparing to come back now into the physical body. By taking the awareness first of all to the sounds of your own body. Breath, heartbeat, pulse. Next, taking that awareness and expanding it outwards to the sounds of the room around you. And building around that. And finally, you can take your awareness all the way to the sounds of the outside world, the furthest away sounds that you can detect. Slowly reintroducing movement by deepening the breath. Moving fingers and toes. Rolling the head gently from side to side. Now, on exhalation, just stretching in any way that feels good to you now. Bending your knees, rolling carefully to one side, pausing for a moment with the top hand resting on the ground. You can use that top hand to push yourself up to a seated position. Bring the hands together, rubbing vigorously, creating a bit of warmth, energy. And then once you've made the hands nice and warm, you can take them over the closed eyes and feel that warmth sinking into the eye sockets, all the way to the back of the skull. Separating the fingers, letting a little light in, blinking open the eyes behind the closed hands. And finally, removing the hands. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Emily.